It's at this stage of the meeting, we're doing something a little different this year, a little unscripted, but I'd like to ask all of the nonprofits that are here that have worked with a very special person to come forward and help me in presenting this next, what we're calling the CRA Lifetime Achievement Award. So, Susan, that would be you, Mayaka, Nora, Dave, Brenda, Susan, Michael, please stand up here. So, I remember the first time I met Gary Dunn. It was at a Affordable Housing Clearinghouse meeting, and back in the day we used to have these group meetings where there would be some banker people there would be some city people, and there would be a lot of community people there. And there happened to be this one community person who was reporting on banks that had either got a needs to improve or an unsatisfactory in their CRA report. And this one particular gentleman happened to mention the bank that Gary was working for. And before he could even finish his sentence, Gary stood up and said, "I beg your pardon, that's not right." I was new executive director of AHC and nervous, and here we have this showdown in my meeting. That was the beginning of a little insight into who this person is. All of us up here, and I'm making this presentation to you, Gary, in honor of all of the people in the community that you have served, that you have helped. And there's so many of them. There's another story that I want to tell, and you know, as a nonprofit executive director, we've all had those times where it's, you know, you're running out of money. And we were at the end of the year, and it was around the holidays, and we had payroll to meet, and I simply did not have enough money. And Gary, because he's a good board member, picked up on that. And he didn't wait for me to call him or ask him or anything like that. A check arrived in the mail, and it was year end. And what he did is he said, "You know what? My CRA budget, it's the end of the year, I have a little left over." He knew I needed it. And how many of you have had experiences with Gary like that?
Where's the check?
Gary sets the gold standard for CRA officers. And he's helped so many other CRA officers. If I meet a new CRA officer, somebody that is working in that capacity in their bank, I always say, "Do you know Gary Dunn?" And Gary's always quick to help them. Gary has been at 4 or 5 banks?
Well, 2 banks, one changed name 3 times.
Okay.
Just 2.
Every bank he's been at has received an outstanding in CRA. Every bank. It's not because the senior management, no offense to the senior management, any of those banks said, "We're going to do this." It's because Gary took it upon himself and said, "We're going to do this. We're going to make it happen." The other thing about Gary that I think is really special is that, you know, his bark is worse than his bite. Although his bark is pretty bad. If you ever want to see a really fun encounter, go to an 8 o'clock nonprofit board meeting or committee meeting. And Gary will be there at about 7:50, and then watch all the local people come in at 8:15, 8:30, and 8:45. And they'll say, "Wow, traffic was really bad this morning." And Gary will say, in his complete Garyism, "Well, I came 400 miles this morning. I flew the red eye, and I'm here on time. So what's your excuse?"
What I usually ask, "Oh, wow, first time traffic problems."
But Gary, I just want to say, on behalf of all of us here at Clearinghouse, CDFI, and all of the different nonprofits, and by the way, the last thing I'll say, and then we're going to jump into our video, is that, you know, we currently count, we asked his staff, you know, how many boards and committees is he on right now? How many does he chair? And they lost track, Gary. But we've got at least 11 where you're currently represented, and what's really funny is almost every single one of them, he's either in the chair or some sort of leadership position. So, Gary, on behalf of all of us here in this room today, on behalf of all of the nonprofit organizations you have supported so much, we want to say thank you, we want to honor you, and before you come up, because I know you're gonna, I'd like to show, we get to see you all the time, but some people in this room don't get to see as much as others. So we're going to show a little video of some great scenes of Gary. And if you look carefully enough, you may actually catch him dancing. I didn't put the pole dancing one in there.
They think you're joking.
You guys can. Congratulations, Gary Dunn, Bank of California, for this CRA Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations, Gary.
I said to myself I wasn't going to get emotional. We're too late for that. No, usually when somebody receives an award like this, they start off with the cliche, I feel honored. I don't feel honored. I feel humbled. Because I've got to have a career that I'm absolutely dedicated to and love. I love helping people in the community. In 1990, when that job was offered to me, over another job that I thought I wanted, I had to go back and think about it for 2 or 3 weeks before I gave the CEO my answer. He didn't know anything about the regulation. Nobody did. This is back in 1990. So I went and figured it out. I thought, wow, I can spend the bank's money, I can run around all day and not be behind a desk, and I can help people. So I thought it was a no-brainer. Little did I know when I made that decision, that 28 years later, I'd be getting something called a Lifetime Achievement Award. The only problem I have with the title of that is the word lifetime. I have a little issue with that because it makes it sound like maybe you're getting to the end of your career or whatever, right? And for those of you that know me really, really well, you know a cat has 9 lives. So I've got 3 left. So what you gotta wonder is why did it take me 6 lives to get this 4? Why didn't I get it right like on number 3 or number 4? Okay? But anyway, what I think happens to somebody is you kind of get passionate. If you really like what you're doing in your daily job, you get passionate. And the passion grows. And I share my passion with everybody I encounter. Like Doug said, I've mentored many people in the CRA world. You know, I do serve on about 11 boards. I'm chairman of 4. And I think all 4 of those organizations are represented here today. You know, so it's just been a lifetime of, you know, helping. But then I look out across all the faces I know in here, and all of you are part of me receiving this honor today. Because you're part of my life, you're part of my success, because of like being part of the Clearinghouse CDFI. You know, so everybody here, the investors, the nonprofits, even the people that live out in our communities, I credit for my success. Because when I've been out in the communities, they also show their support and their love for what I do and all my peers do and all the nonprofits do that are out there. You know, so I didn't do this by myself. I really didn't do it by myself. I actually, thanks to an accident, they probably didn't have anybody else to give it to. But I'll tell you one little secret, and then I'll get off here because I could talk forever, is every day, everybody in this room, think about this, every day, everybody has one decision you have to make if you do this right, when your feet hit the floor and you get out of bed. And that one decision, no matter what that day is going to look like, is it going to be a good day with a positive attitude, or is it going to be a bad day with a bad attitude? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When my feet hit the floor, I don't always pick the good attitude day.
Really?
Really? I really don't. Because there's some days you got to make decisions on Doug's board, or some of the other ones, but some days you got to make decisions that kind of hurt. But you got to make the right decision, and it kind of hurts. And that's, I have to do that a lot out in the community or on all the boards I serve on. I kind of have to rally people back into what they're supposed to be doing with the mission, because people kind of go off the rails on me and whatever. But I do make that decision every morning. And the mornings, I'll tell you this thing, on the mornings I pick it's going to be a bad attitude and a bad day, I've thought about that about a week in advance. Okay, because I got to line everybody up. Anybody I have to have a conversation with that I'm going to piss off, or anybody at work that I'm going to have a conversation or piss off, I'm going to do it all in that one day that I picked to have a bad attitude and a bad day. So I only have to do that maybe once or twice a month. The rest of the days I pick good attitude. Now, the important part about picking the good attitude day is you do that when your feet hit the floor. And then you get to work or out in the community and doing something, and something kind of starts to make you go the other way, you can't do it. You've got to turn whatever that negative is right then and there into a positive. And I defy anybody to give me a negative in personal life or business life that I can't pull a positive out of every time. So with that, just think about it. When your feet hit the floor, every morning, it's your chance to achieve something great based on your attitude. Thank you very much.